Travails of Tunde, Chapter 1, Tunde's World. Tunde Ajayi woke up to the familiar sounds of Lagos, the distant hum of traffic, the occasional honk of an impatient driver, and the early morning chatter of street vendors setting up their stalls. The occasional shout of "Agege bread! Bread Agege!" could be heard above the rattling sounds of the motorcycles popularly known as Okada. He stretched, feeling the weight of another day ahead. It was 5:30 a.m., and the sun was just beginning to cast a soft glow over the bustling city. Tunde lived in a small two-bedroom apartment in Surulere, a lively but crowded neighborhood. The apartment was small but tidy, a testament to the meticulous nature of his wife, Dolakbo. She had an eye for detail and managed to make their limited space feel warm and welcoming. Tunde glanced over at Dolakbo, still asleep beside him. She was a beautiful woman with a strong spirit, but the lines of worry that creased her forehead even in sleep spoke volumes. They had been married for 5 years and had 2 daughters, Fumi, who was 3, and Bola, just a year old. Their love had been strong and resilient, but the constant financial strain was beginning to take its toll. He quietly got out of bed, careful not to wake his wife, and tiptoed to the small room that served as both his daughter's bedroom and a play area. Fumi and Bola were still asleep, their faces peaceful and innocent. Tunde felt a pang of guilt and determination as he looked at them. He wanted to provide them with a better life, free from the struggles he and Dolakbo faced daily. The ripple effect of the economic hardship and foreign exchange instability had taken a toll on their finances. By 6 a.m., Tunde was out the door, joining a throng of commuters heading to various parts of the city. He worked as a junior accountant at a mid-sized firm in Victoria Island, a job he had held for the past 6 years. Despite his dedication and hard work, promotions seemed to elude him. He was often looked over in favor of colleagues who had connections or were willing to play office politics, something Tunde refused to engage in. The bus ride to work was long and tedious. Tunde used the time to go over his plans for the day and think about his family. He recalled the dreams he had when he first started at the firm. Dreams of climbing the corporate ladder, earning a good salary, and providing a comfortable life for his wife and children. But reality had been harsh. His salary barely covered their expenses, and any unexpected costs sent them into a spiral of debt. At work, Tunde was known for his reliability and meticulous attention to detail. He handled his tasks with precision and often stayed late to ensure everything was perfect. But despite his efforts, recognition and advancement remained out of reach. His manager, Mr. Ade, was a stern man who rarely gave praise and seemed to take Tunde's diligence for granted. "Tunde, I need the quarterly report on my desk by noon," Mr. Ade barked as soon as Tunde entered the office. "Yes, sir," Tunde replied, hiding his frustration. He had worked on the report all night and knew it was ready, but the constant demands and lack of appreciation weighed heavily on him. As the day wore on, Tunde immersed himself in his work, trying to push aside the nagging worries about his family's financial situation. He thought about his darling wife Dolakbo, who was becoming increasingly frustrated with their circumstances. She had taken a part-time job to help make ends meet, but it was clear that she was growing tired of that constant struggle. That evening, as Tunde returned home, he was greeted by the sight of his wife sitting at the dining table, her face etched with concern. Fumi and Bola played nearby, unaware of the tension between their parents. How was work? Dolapo asked, not looking up from the pile of bills in front of her. The same, Tunde replied, trying to keep his tone light. Any news from your side? Dolapo sighed. We need to talk about these bills, Tunde. We are falling behind again, and I don't know how much longer we can keep this up. Tunde sat down across from her, feeling the weight of the conversation. I know, Dolapo. I'm doing everything I can to find a better job, but it's not easy. I'll keep trying. Dolapo's eyes softened, but the worry remained. I just want a better life for our girls. They deserve more than this constant struggle, you know. We'll find a way, Tunde said, reaching for her hand. I promise. As the night fell and the city quieted down, Tunde lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. He thought about the future, about the life he wanted to build for his family. He knew the road ahead would be difficult, but he was determined to succeed. For Dolapo, for Fumi, for Bola, and for himself.